I'm going to try and do this without my voice cracking. Omaha!
You are Locked On Wolfpack, your daily podcast on the NC State Wolfpack, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, Wolfpack Nation? This is a bonus Tuesday episode. I am fired up. I have a raspy voice. As you might have already guessed, I've done a little bit of crying. Going to try and hold it together on here. You're getting locked in with Locked On here on Tuesday. Thanks for making Locked On Wolfpack your first listen each and every day, even when it's a bonus episode, because we're going to Omaha. Free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. It is Tuesday. It is maybe the best Tuesday of all Tuesdays. I'm Grayson. I'm joined by Kenton Gibbs, former Wolfpack defensive tackle. Kenton, we're going to Omaha. NC State baseball for the second time in 4 years. We are going back to Omaha. See, here we go. It's already starting. The Wolfpack defeat the Bulldogs in Game 3 of the Athens Regional by a score of 8-5. It had everything that you want in a winner-take-all game. It had the drama. It had the storyline. It had the baseball poetry. It had the gripping your seat at the end. It had home runs. It had great bullpen. It had a thrilling finish. What a game. I told you before this college baseball tournament started, if you have never witnessed a tournament like this one, make sure you sit down and watch because it is the best postseason of all sports. And I'll tell you what, it's like 68 times better when your team is succeeding in this postseason. We are going back to freaking Omaha.
You and I both talked about how this game was going to be about how our starters do. It was going to be about, hey, can our starter hold it down, right? And you know, I'm not saying this to make Grayson cry. I promise you, I knew that this was going to happen. I knew that this was going to get him there. But you think about Logan Whitaker, and you think about all that he's been through, everything that he's been through in his NC State career, okay? 4 1/3 innings pitched. You want to know how many hits he allowed?
Like 2, maybe?
4 of them things.
Okay.
4. And even beyond that, right? You talk about that. You also talk about, well, how was NC State able to do what we did in terms of you know, having a situation where we could get to the bullpen, where we could get to Duden and Smith and kind of get them to shut this thing down. We got down 2-0 early. Nobody panicked. It didn't feel like this team. I have seen this team look frazzled at times early in the season. I saw, and it felt like, even last game at times, it felt like after we got down a little bit, it felt like, are we checking out right now? Are we clocking out? This team in this game, they were locked in. You know, they were locked in from go. Even after, I believe it was a 2-run shot, they were still like, hey, we're ready. We're ready. We're not going anywhere. We're showing up. We're showing out. We're doing what we got to do because, again, this thing ain't over. This thing ain't over till it's over, and we're ready. And to that end, to that extent, I just got to say, man, this is the type of stuff. This is the type of stuff where you talk about how connected NC State is. In Elliott Avent's post-game interview, he said the Jim Valvano spirit in NC State is not just talked about, it's a thing. It's very real here, you know. And I'm going to pass over. I promise y'all I was not trying to make Grayson cry. That was not my intention at all. But it's this story, the story of this team is so moving. And I haven't even gotten to all of it because I know if I get into the full breadth and depth of it, we're going to have to break out the big boy tissues. We're going to have to break out a beach towel for Grayson. But you know, it's what a story going back to Omaha, and I'll be damned if I said I don't believe this team could win it all.
I'll start here with Logan Whitaker. There are only 7 players on this team this year that were also on the 2021 Omaha team. Logan Whitaker is one of them. The other 6 are Noah Souls, Sam Highfill, Carson Falskin, Garrett Payne, Matt Willardson, and John Moralia. Those 6 all played at some point during the 2021 season. Garrett Payne and Carson Falskin were a part of that Pac-13 game in Omaha, but the rest of them, they all played that year. Logan Whitaker dealt with injury for 3 years. 3 years of rehabbing injuries at NC State. He was a freshman in 2019, got injured, rehabbed that year. 2020, COVID, obviously didn't play. 21, injured, still rehabbing. He's a part of the Omaha team, never gets to see the field. We all know how Omaha went in 2021, robbed of the opportunity to play for a national championship. And we all NC State baseball fans have been very bitter about it, and rightfully so, ever since. For Logan Whitaker, hold it together here, come on. For Logan Whitaker to get the ball here in game 3 of a super regional, to send this team back to Omaha, when they feel like they have unfinished business. Don't get me wrong, this is absolute jubilation because this is one of the hardest things to do in college athletics. But this team, they feel probably still pissed off. They feel pissed off that they have more work to do. And I talk a lot about how baseball a lot of times is so poetic in the storylines that kind of work themselves out. For Logan Whitaker to get the ball in this game, to send his team back to Omaha where everything went down, you couldn't have had it any other way. And he gave the Wolfpack the exact type of start that they needed to get a leg up in this game. He went 4 1/3 innings, like Kenton mentioned, only 4 hits. One of them was that 2-run home run to Trey Phelps. And at the time, Logan Whitaker looked so locked into me, I was unfazed as well. There's a lot of times, and this is transcended across sports, whether it's baseball, basketball, or football, when you know your team well enough, you can tell in the first couple minutes of that game if they have it or not. I knew that Logan Whitaker, he had it tonight. He was going to bring it tonight. He knows what this game means and where we're trying to go, and he brought it. I talked all week last week leading into the Super Regional, and I said these games are more or less won or lost in the first 4 to 5 innings of this game. And if Logan Whitaker and our offense can get us a lead and bridge it over to the bullpen, I feel really good about our chances. That's exactly what happened on Monday night. The offense came through. Have a day, Eli Serrano, 3 for 4, fantastic catch in center field to save a couple runs. Arguably the MVP, but I think I might go another direction. We talk about that in just a second. Garrett Pennington, huge home run. Alec Makarevich, the ECU transfer in his final college baseball season with a moonshot, an insurance home run late in the game. That was enormous. Alex Sosa with a ball that still has not landed somewhere in northern Georgia. That was massive. Everyone that needed to bring it, they brought it. The stars were the stars. Brandon Butterworth had a couple massive plays in this game. It was the same composition of everything that got us to this part of the year. Then you hand the ball over to Jacob Duden. I had tweeted, when the air returns to my lungs, we're going to talk about what Jacob Duden did to Charlie Condon tonight. Charlie Condon, make no mistake about it, is the #1 pick of this year's MLB draft.
Oh, by a mile.
By a mile. He is the best hitter in the country. Jacob Duden is a freshman. He's 18, 19 years old. My guy was in algebra last year.
He was slow dancing at prom.
He dispatched the best hitter in college baseball on 4 pitches. And I'll tell you something else. It was relatively non-competitive. Hammer sliders that Charlie Condon had absolutely zero answer for. In that moment, are you absolutely kidding me? Super Regional Game 3 on the road, best hitter in the country, bases loaded, 1 out. That's a make or break part of this game. If he goes yard, we lose. If he hits a double, I don't know if we win that game. To punch him out so easily as Duden did, I mean, electric arm, Jacob Duden. I've tweeted this several times this year. I'm throwing him a blank check in NIL. Literally whatever it takes, he has to be here next year.
And we talk about Logan Whitaker and how he did his thing. This was a master class by our boy Elliott Avent as well, because knowing in that moment, in that moment, you are going to trust a freshman, to come in runner in scoring position against the best hitter in college baseball. You got to trust the freshman. Everybody would call you crazy. Everybody would say you're not well in the head for going to a freshman in that situation. And yet, what does he do? Made that boy weak in the knees like SWV. I'll tell you what. This is a special group. This is a special group. This has been such a special year for NC State sports as a whole. But when you look at the little stories inside this thing, you know, when you look at the stories of Peyton Wilson and all that he went through and him being robbed of trophies in the past and coming back having the season that he had, when you look at a DJ Horn and coming back and being the hometown kid and doing what he did, when you look at a Elliott Avent, all that he's been through, so many years of job's not finished. But this was a hell of a job. To trust a freshman in that moment, that takes all the balls in the world, man. That takes all the balls in the world because most coaches, not sure. Hey, we got D-Rock. We might have to throw him right now because we're not sure if a freshman can go up against a guy that he's going to have his name called as soon as the draft starts. It's not going to be no mulling over who's the pick, who's the guy. Condon, give us Condon right now. Send him on. You know, and so this is, again, just a masterclass by Elliott Avent as well.
You regularly see this whenever NC State loses. People are so quick to throw Elliott Avent under the bus. Whether it's in the ACC tournament or you lose the weekend series, whatever it is. For some reason, people are so quick to throw this man under the bus. You don't win over 1,000 baseball games and get to Omaha 3 different times by accident. It does not happen. He is one of the most storied college baseball coaches literally of all time. Like he's reaching that level of accomplishments here at NC State. And like Kenton just mentioned, that was a fantastic point. The absolute trust you have in a freshman and a sophomore, Duden and Smith, to take you home on the road in game 3.
Man, I'll tell you what. This is – remember how Dom Fritton got his nickname last year, Round Count Dom? Because you couldn't write it up. If you wrote that in a Hollywood movie, they say it's too cheesy. It's not real. Well, Jacob Duden, he showed, hey, this is real. This is real. And so to see this again in this moment where, like you said, if Condon even gets a single, depending on how that thing is hit, who knows? We could be looking at all different, let alone if he gets a grand slam in that moment, let alone the freshman comes in and he's not quite ready. His mind ain't quite right. And instead, he says, hey, I'm going to get you in 4. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. You know, what a way. What a way.
Some of y'all may remember me talking about this early in the season when we were kind of wondering, man, why is Avent using so many freshmen and not really relying on some of the upperclassmen you have in the bullpen? How about now? How about that moment for Jacob Duden and Derek Smith? That validated everything. Like literally the entire season validated in just the last couple innings of this game. Like I said, you don't win over 1,000 games by accident. You don't go to Omaha 3 different times by accident. And so the next time you doubt Avent, you should know there is no one I would rather lead my favorite baseball team in the country. There is no one I would rather have at the helm of NC State baseball than Elliott Avent. He is a legend, arguably one of the most important hires of NC State athletics history. Like that's an undisputed fact at this point. He is that big of a deal. And so again, man, like just to circle back, everything that this team went through out in Omaha and to have that opportunity to rob for them to get back so soon. And believe me when I say this, you see teams like Texas A&M and Stanford and all the SEC teams, they go like somewhat regularly. I wouldn't exactly say that's normal. Getting to Omaha multiple times in a short span, that is so unbelievably hard to do. And so for NC State to get back in this year with this many injuries and this many guys that you lose at crucial parts of the season, you think about Matt Willardson, starting pitcher, lost him before the year began. Shane Van Dam, who's a crucial bullpen arm, You lose him in the middle of the season. Starting outfielder Josh Hogue breaks his leg. You lose him for the rest of the season. We talked about
freak accident of a play.
Yeah. You talk about Logan Whitaker. You lose him for a month and a half to some freak illness where he drops 30 pounds and then comes back for postseason play and has one of the best starts of his life. Like, you can't make any of this up because that team just still went to Omaha. I talked about in football season how Brennan Armstrong embodied what it means to be a part of the Wolfpack. Kevin Keats and the basketball team, never giving up, getting to the Final Four. That embodies what it means to be a part of the NC State Wolfpack. And Elliott Avent, sorry, y'all. Elliott Avent, for the third time in his tenure, in this season, with all of this adversity, still getting to Omaha. That's NC State. That is NC State. That is more NC State than maybe it ever has been. That is the definition of running with the pack. That's the definition of never giving up and being a team baseball. You can't make that stuff up, man. We'll wrap this up. We'll keep this relatively shorter here on Tuesday so I don't bawl my eyes out like I typically do. Bigger picture, this sports year, can it still get better? I'll answer that for you. Yes, it can.
Yes.
We're going to Omaha, and we still have more to play for. 9-win football season and a bowl. Finishing in the top 25. Men's basketball, women's basketball, Final Four. And your NC State baseball team is going to Omaha. I believe Pack Pride already put it out. Those 4 accomplishments have only been done 2 other times in college sports history. I think it's Texas and Louisville. So we just made rare air in this collegiate sports year. Do not let that fly under the radar. This does not happen. And it has never happened to NC State because we've had a very long time of waiting for success like this. So truly cherish this moment. This is absolutely ridiculous. And one last thing before we get out of here. I encourage you, if you did not go out to Omaha in 21 and you're thinking about doing it now, go.
Yeah,
go.
If you can, go.
If you can make it work, go. Some of y'all may still be reeling off of going out to Phoenix for the Final Four. Totally understand that. If you can get to Omaha, go. It is one of the coolest sporting events I have ever been to in my life. It is so cool to see fans of 8 different schools all in one place playing for a championship. And the community out in Omaha is unbelievable. The food's good. The nightlife is good. The sightseeing is good. Trust me on this. If you can go, go. Because your NC State Wolfpack, they're going. And they want you to meet them there. That'll do it for us here on Tuesday. Little bonus episode for you. No way we can celebrate this and not have something up for you on Tuesday. The NC State baseball team going back to Omaha for the second time in 4 years, and they're looking for more. They're looking for redemption. They're out.
Job not finished. Job not finished, baby.
Job finished? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
We'll see you all on Wednesday. What a night, man. What a night. What a moment. We'll see you all Wednesday. Until then, go Pack.
Go Pack.